welcome to the session. If you're joining us on Zoom, just leave us a hi on the chat with your name and the city that you're from. We're just about to get started. About to get started. Yeah, so we are also live on YouTube, and if you're watching us on LinkedIn, just let us know you're here. Let's see. Hi, Shankar. Hi, Anil. Hi, Antonio, Shivatej. Nice to have you. Nice to have you all. Hi. Hi, Anil. Hi, Sundar. Yeah. Keep the introductions coming, and also people on YouTube and LinkedIn. Today's agenda is for you guys to understand what decision intelligence exactly is and what role it plays, how it helps you. My name is Aparna. I'm going to be your host for today. We've got Prasad sir who's going to take you through the session. We'll get started very, very soon. So just quickly let us know, yeah, your name and the city. Cameron, hi, good morning to you. Sarabjeet, hi. Hashim from Saudi Arabia. Hi, Madhvi, nice to have you. Madhvi is a student. Okay, amazing. Okay, hi from Morocco. Yeah, great. So we've got people from different time zones. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all of you guys. So this is going to be the agenda for today. You're going to understand a little about what decision intelligence is and how you can use data to make intelligent decisions and get impactful insights, basically actionable insights with AI, with the help of AI, right? So that's the agenda of today's session. And while we're talking about AI, you will also be able to understand how one of our generative AI courses can help you master decision making with data as well, and also help you upskill. So we'll talk about this course towards the end, and after the session is done, we'll also open up the segment on question and answers. So if you have questions for our expert, you make sure that you're leaving them on the Q&A box and not on the chat box, because we might miss questions there. So just make sure you're using the Q&A box exclusively for posting questions. Yeah. So hello to everyone who's joining in. I'm just going to quickly tell you the ground rules. So let's say you have a question and you've posted it. Please do not repost it. Again, might spam the Q&A box. So you can also see others' questions, the questions that have already been posted. So if you have the same question, just wait around. We will make sure that it is answered. Okay. And same goes for people joining us on YouTube and LinkedIn. Let's say you have a question, please use the comments or the live chat to post a question and we'll get that answered. Yeah. And also, since the session is being recorded, you don't have to worry if you missed it. We're streaming this on LinkedIn and YouTube, so you can check out these recordings later on. But remember that you will receive a recording link in the next 24 hours. You will also receive a webinar certificate to showcase that you attended this webinar. You will receive that as well. So for this, we'll collect names towards the end. And during the course of the webinar, you will be answering a bunch of polls, including the first one that is coming up right after this. So you will have a bunch of questions to answer, whether it's on the chat or on the poll. So make sure you're attentive. Make sure you are making the best use of the session and asking a lot of questions, interacting with us through the Q&A box or the chat box. Yeah. So with this, let's just quickly understand what your work experience is. So let me ask you this question through a poll, and people watching us on social media, just leave us a quick message on the live chat. Yes, hello everyone who's joining in on LinkedIn. Yes, just answer. You can just use the chat to answer this question, whatever your experience is. And for us to proceed with the session faster, I'm going to keep the poll live for exactly 1 minute, because remember, the agenda of the session is to understand, decision intelligence and deep dive into that concept. So we'll not spend much time here. Yes, great. Thank you so much, Ashlesha, Manju, Abhilash, for your responses. More than 5 years studying. Okay. Okay, people on LinkedIn, my voice is audible perfectly to a few of them. So maybe if you're not able to hear me, you could just rejoin the session. Yes. Okay, so I'm ending the poll here, and I'm also going to be sharing the results. So Prasad sir, you can let me know if you can see these results. You should be able.
I can see the results.
Great, great, great. Nice. So let me also quickly, introduce Simplilearn to you. So Simplilearn offers skills in various domains, generative AI, machine learning, data science being some of them. So you can head to simplilearn.com and check out certification programs. You will have programs that align you to a certain career path. You also have long-term programs, one of which we're also going to be talking about today. So you can head to simplilearn.com and check out these courses. Yes. And with that, let me introduce you to our expert today, Mr. Prasad Chitta, who's got 25 plus years of experience in the IT space, and he specializes in, giving solutions or providing solutions to enterprises and how they can implement digital solutions in their organization. So he's also dedicated to staying updated with latest advancements, and which is why he suggested that we talk about decision intelligence, because it's such an interesting piece of content to teach and also understand. So welcome, Prasad sir, to the session. I'll let you introduce yourself, and also you can take over screen share now.
Right. So share the screen. You're able to see the full screen, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So welcome everyone to this webinar. I will keep it fairly simple, because when we see the uh, poll, we see people with a lot of experience, 5+ years experience, to students also on the call. So let me keep the whole thing simple and understandable to everyone. We will take the questions towards the end. Once you have understood the theory of what we are talking about, what is artificial intelligence as such, and what as my focus is more on the decision intelligence, which is a area which is not been explored by most of the hype around artificial intelligence as of today. So let us look at get into the theory first. So how many of you have thought about, or what is decision? So generally we use this word everywhere, right? So an example of decision which is seen there, okay, somebody is requesting for a credit and we have to evaluate. And if it is a binary decision, yes or no, means uh, we'll have to choose something to qualify that or disqualify that. So we'll call it as a credit score. So it may consist of so many parameters, but when we join all those things together, it will give us a score, a number. And if that number is above 700, I will grant the loan. Otherwise, I will not grant the loan. Okay, this is a sample. This thing. But how do we define decision? Maybe, yeah, if you can put some answers into the chat box if you have access to that, whatever. But I will let you think a little, because what is the simplest? are the most straight definition of a decision before we go into the decision intelligence as such, then everything else. So most likely people will say it is a choice between options. That is the normal answer I get, but that is not true. So as long as you have choice, you have still not taken decision. But you are not defining the decision actually. You are only defining the choice. I have 4 options, which two? Or I have 2 options, yes or no. Which one to choose? That is not decision. So decision actually is irrevocable allocation of resources. Either it is money or time. If we allocate that money, so all of you have now made a decision to join this webinar.
Yeah.
I am thinking to join the webinar, that is not a decision. Whether to join, where to join, whatever. But once irrevocably you have allocated the time or resources, that is called making a decision. So once I give credit, I have 100 rupees, I have 4 possible applicants where I can give loan to. So if I choose one of them, probably everything will be fine and I will get my 100 rupees and my interest back in due course of time. So I am earning the interest. There may be a risk. If I choose another, I may lose my 100 rupees. I may get into a problem. In another case, I may get back my 100 rupees much before the due date. So I have given it for 15 years and I expect to earn interest for 15 years. I within 1 year, the person comes back, gives me back my 100 rupees and gives me back my one year worth of interest. So what I am losing now is the revenue. I would have given it to the another person who would have kept this loan for 15 years. So my revenue is guaranteed. So all these are the factors that involve. It is not just the credit decision. Means my 100 rupees, I allocating it to one person to give the credit. It may result in multiple scenarios, complicated scenarios that may impact my 100 rupees capital and the revenue, what it is going to earn. So with this definition, let us look at what are the complexities, what is decision intelligence. So what we have seen is a straightforward definition of decision and the intelligence related. You take a binary decision, you allocate the resources that we have seen in the past. But it is not that simple when you are doing a real lending business. So it is not always a binary decision, right? So what happens? Somebody requesting credit. So there is a context of the customer, and there is the opportunity. The opportunity here, customer is trying to buy a house. So it is a mortgage loan he is requesting for. So or he wanted to improve, or he wanted to do it's a personal loan, or various different things. And each different type of customer or combination of customers will give a different risk. So most normally, if one person is taking the loan, it becomes easier to assess. But there are multiple borrowers. There is joint borrowers. There is one borrower having a regular job where you can assess the income, expenditure, etc. easily. Or there may be another borrower who is self-employed or a professional, which it is not easy to do the risk. And in the given market scenario, they have multiple players who are lending money also, right? So it is not that I am the only person who is lending money in the market. So all these contexts come together, make this decision-making process multifaceted, okay? So how do we make, so this somebody is applying or approaching us to request for that credit, that can be taken into how we can dynamically price something, how we can create this scenario and lend it to that person, get the loyalty, continue to have that customer for a really long duration and do continuous business with them. So it all spans into that. So in real life decision scenarios, when we are allocating different types of resources to different projects, different people, either it is a deposit or a loan or whatever it is, it has a life cycle. So there is a continuous context, evolving context and dynamic nature of decision making that comes into the picture. So that is the most important second theoretical concept which you need to understand before we get into what is adaptive AI. So normally what is AI? Artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is to mimic the intelligence of a human being. So human beings are very good at or whatever. They have their own ways of making decisions. People consider risk. So basically there is a decision that need to be made and there are several factors that need to be computed or collected or understood. So that is where data comes into the picture. So we wanted to understand, we have seen these multiple contexts, different contexts that combine together to create a much larger scenario of the situation. That scenario, it evolves into multiple scenarios. So standard AI, which is predominantly olden days, there is something called symbolic AI. So AI, which has encapsulated the knowledge of human beings. So there are expert systems. People have encoded the coding, if then else logic. So there is a forward chaining, backward chaining, that kind of systems wherein there is no training involved. So all the knowledge is captured, knowledge bases have been kept. And if given scenario, they go through this knowledge base and figure out what to do. Those are called expert systems and knowledge-based systems. So that is something called symbolic AI. Even now that AI is there, but not very well in the hype, today's hype side. But that AI is still there. Later came a period of machine learning. What is machine learning? You give a set of examples and you have outputs there. So basically you have several variables of X and a variable called Y. That Y need to be predicted based on X. Learning from the sample data, learning from the training data. So that is called machine learning. So there are algorithms which will statistically learn or using ensemble learning, using neural networks. They learn the scenarios, but they always learn to the same X. If X is having 5 variables and Y is a numerical output, that is called a regression. And they do the regression and give you the output. Okay, that is how the algorithms are built. So they are not adaptive. You always need to pass the 5 input variables to get the output variable. And you need to have a lot of labeled training data to create that AI. So this is called machine learning based artificial intelligence. The third phase which has come, which is called generative AI. So what is difference between the second phase of the AI and the third phase of the AI? These foundational models, they don't need a labeled output data. So they learn from sequences. So basically they will learn a sequence and predict the next thing in the sequence. So this happens using a self-supervised attention-based mechanism. So you don't need a lot of labeled data. All that you need is you need data in sequences and you pass these sequences as tokens to it and it will do the transformer, it will do all those learning it will be able to generate similar scenarios or slightly diffused scenarios or using the transformers they generate multiple scenarios and appear as if it has learned all possible combinations and give you the new combination given the input context. So this is the three layers of AI. So what we have looked at generative AI, machine learning based AI, symbolic AI. But one aspect of being able to adapt is missing in them. So what is being able to adapt? The input factors may change depending on the context. So if I said there is only one borrower, you have to evaluate one borrower. If there are two borrowers, there is a co-borrower. And you need to evaluate their credit worthiness in combination of first borrower and second borrower, what they are adding to it. So if you have to create a artificial intelligence system, which has to consider input variability and output variability. Output also sometimes it has to be an output of saying yes or no. Sometimes you have to say what are all the possible things, how a factor can be changed. If I can increase the interest rate or decrease the interest rates, I have reduced the period of loan or change the amount of the loan, will it fit the given requirement? So adaptive AI is always a agent-based architecture. It should continuously learn, think, and understand the situation. So given the situation, given the input parameters, the AI system should adapt to that input parameters, predict or do the task, what is to be performed, and also validate the task based on the feedback. So there is a continuous learning loop in any adaptive AI agent. So how generative AI can help this adaptive AI? By doing multiple scenarios, the reasoning part of it is done in the generative model. And we bring it that together with the standard data collection models, collect all the required factors underneath and evaluate all those factors and project into the future what will happen. Give all that information to a human decision maker to augment the decision. If needed, that human in the loop. Final decision maker will be a human, but all the required parameters will be provided by the adaptive AI. So simple configurable rules to a shift into generative, responsible, and adaptive AI. This is what is required for making machines to take decisions. So hope that covers our third slide, our most important third concept of the today's webinar. Then moving on, this is where the actual application comes into the picture. So what happens in a given scenario? A lot of transactions that keep happening. Either somebody is buying something or an insurance policy, buying a motor policy, buying a house, whatever it is happening, each inquiry, each interaction is recorded as a fact. Okay, some interaction has been happened. And this is the essence of that. Means somebody wanted to order something, somebody wanted to check on some website. So everything is tracked. So if some information is available on the website, you go click it, that information gets locked. Such and such user has looked at this information for so much time. All that information is available. Now comes, okay, all the data is available, right from the click streams to YouTube videos, viewing time to anything to everything is recorded in the systems, all the interaction. What businesses will do with this data? Now, that data in its raw format is not much useful. It can be used for completing the transactions. So if I am buying a particular item for quantity from a market website, right? Then market website will have to track that information. What is my address, whether my payment is successful or not. Then take it to whether that 4 items need to be taken, packaged, the logistics need to be arranged. So that and all is going the transactional thing, the transactions that keep happening. And a lot of modifications will happen. Once the product comes to me, I don't like it, I return it back. But at the end of the day, I want to understand if I wanted to project the demand for such given product in my area, I need to sum up all these data, generate insights, right? That is called data science, right? Lot of data science related algorithms, they describe, prescribe different types of analytics have been done. So those things are called insights. But these insights are not decisions. These insights are used by decision makers to take some decisions. So if I want to achieve something, should I put this on the marketing budget? So I have been given 100 rupees or $100, whatever, 100 units of money to spend on something to achieve a particular goal. I want to increase my sales by 10% by this end of this quarter. So that is the goal given to me, and I have a budget of 100 units of money. Now comes my original definition of decision. Where do I put this 100 units of money, and what is the most effective thing I can do? So I can allocate it for some marketing promotion, some deal or something like that, or some targeted promotion, or I may want to incentivize some people with that 100 units of money to do word of mouth or whatever. So I have all these options. That is where the adaptive AI comes into the picture. So I have many scenarios are there. What are practical? What actions I need to identify? Those things are called decision opportunity. So I have resources, I have a target to be achieved, and I have to make the decisions. These decision opportunities have to be identified. Then I have to choose the best decision opportunity and get into the action. The action will give outcomes. At every stage, we get some feedback into the system. So decision has always context, actions have definite objectives, and outcomes need to be measured, brought back into the system. So that is how the whole cycle of data to outcomes is applied. For that only we use, you have to use responsibly the AI. AI has all this ability to assimilate knowledge, forecast information, act or assist the actors to act effectively on certain things, and finally measure the outcomes as well. So moving on, this framework which we have derived, I have created, this is something called data to all the way to getting to the decision network. If time allows me, I will just show one prototype later, how all these things come together to actually help the decision maker. So the process to understand it will start with creating features from the data. So features are something which are useful to model the information, how the information can be predicted, used. So it is not necessarily one model is sufficient. So there may be multiple different models that are required to be built. So data need to be converted into some inferenceable features, or so if we take a picture, from the picture objects need to be detected, their size, shape, color, etc. can be the features. Then with these features, if I have a picture with all these objects and this much size and shape and this interaction, what that picture could be, then that is the model. That is where the ML, machine learning model, will try and understand what will happen. But these models need to be put together into a agent framework. That is where I have said understand, think, and learn. These are the three aspects of a AI agent which is used in decision. Obviously, if you want to help decision maker, these three aspects are required. We have to understand the context and data, and then think in the sense being able to, from that context, being able to link it to the target variables, target factors, what I wanted to achieve. How do I achieve? that result, what parameters can change, how all these parameters are interconnected. They are called correlations. So there is knowledge graphs. You can use any of these different techniques to connect various factors and their impacts on each of the output factor, input factors to output factors and stuff like that. And once we say that, okay, this is the allocation I suggest, and if that allocation goes into the production, or means you start allocating that in a month's period, again, you have to re-evaluate the whole scenario, saying that is it working towards the direction what we have expected to move, or it is not working. If it is not working, we have to realign the stuff. We cannot leave it for the end of the quarter to realize that nothing has happened or we have not got those results. Then, like that, multiple decision agents can work together, like how humans will work together. They look at one context, understand that context, and provide the required information and stuff like that to the decision maker. And finally, you can connect all these things in a decision network. It is like a knowledge graph again, a network which will keep feeding information and reacting on the responses. So that is what the think and learn components will happen. And understanding is the common component, is the most important component to be very adaptive in the given decision making scenario as the scenario evolves. Okay, so how do we put everything together? So this is the last theoretical slide, last but one slide I have. So what is this we do here is, okay, if we look at each in the central layer, we expect each one is a agent, look at that way. And in any given context, there are three contexts that emerge. Okay, what is a context? So if I am the decision maker and I have certain parameters in my hand, so I have a budget, I can allocate to A, B, C. So those factors which you see here, they are in my control. I can change them. That is something called decision context. So I can only change them. I cannot change anything else. But there are some internal in my own company. There are different decision makers who are taking decisions, but they impact my decisions. If I say I want to recruit 10 people, my HR says, no, I cannot recruit 10 people with this budget. So I say, okay, I have this much money. With this money, you get me 10 developers. So that is my decision. But my HR says, no, 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 in the today's market, you can get only 5 people with this. So do you want to go ahead and recruit 5 people or not? So that is something called internal context, not in my control, but it influences my context. And there is completely a external context, competitive context, what my competitor will do, or what the macro economy will look, what the finance minister will tell, what is the Reserve Bank is going to tell, how the overall inflation will go up or down, or what will happen, how it will impact my whatever I am supposed to do. That is the third context. So I need agents to observe all these contexts and feed in their outcomes into a internal dynamic concept. So outside we see these are the static contexts, or I cannot do much, I can only observe them, and that too partially observable. I can only partially observe, I can't see everything because everything is not open to me. But I have to infer things. That is what my agents are doing here. And they are feeding information into an internal dynamic network, which aids me as a decision maker, finally to take decisions and record my decisions back into the system or this AI system and keep re-evaluating them every week, every month, whatever is the frequency. So I don't need to going behind the data always. So data comes, data engineering teams will bring the data into, and the agents will observe, and always they alert me when there is a decision opportunity. That is the core thing of decision intelligence platform. That is how we wanted to implement, or that is the implementation mechanism using this. So, okay, just to sum it up, how multiple industries use this concept. So what we have understood, this is a summary of all that what we have understood until now. What is decision intelligence? How there are multiple factors. So we said there are decision factors which are in my control, a decision maker's control. I can change them. So I have the ability to change them. I have empowerment to change them. Those are the things I have to change. But they are dependent on external factors. They are dependent on informational factors. So if I want to take this decision, what will happen? What has happened in the previous week, previous month? So now I have a question. I wanted to gather some additional information. So I need agents which can gather information, which can connect all these in the business context and tell me when there is a decision opportunity. Those are the decision agents. You have agent 1, 2, 3, 4. All these are connected and helping me to take decisions. So how any business, any industry can adopt this mechanism. If it is a retail business, if you are doing inventory management, you can apply the same mechanism. If it is BFSI business, if it is a credit risk management or treasury management or any function, the same thing will happen. There is a decision factor, there are external factors which cannot be changed and they are available. Some factors, they are not readily available. We have to assemble that information. I know that this information is available, but I have to go and get that information from somewhere. Then combine all this information into a scenario, identify the decision opportunity, help me make decisions, track the decision to the outcomes. All these things can be applied into various industries. So we don't need to go into the details, but that is how decision intelligence will help. Adaptive AI will help. Okay. So I think I'll just take few minutes to show you something such that you can make some better understanding of what I have already told. 4 or 5 minutes. I will not show too much of practical also. Okay. So let me reshare the screen with a okay. So this is something called a liquidity management decision scenario. So what happens is on that left, whatever you are seeing here is something called a decision opportunity. So the system is telling somebody, I recommend you to do a short-term borrowing of 10 million, blah, 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 to keep your liquidity afloat. Okay. So don't worry if you don't understand, but try to understand that is called a decision opportunity, which you are seeing here. And why is that? So it is giving the definition on the right side, saying that, okay, your liquidity ratio will be in the trouble on the day 3, day 4, day 5, whatever. From now in 5 days time, you will have a problem if the cash flow goes on like this, blah, blah, blah. So that is what is happening. So if you want to further dig deep into this, so what will happen is, so you have come here, what are the observations and evidence? So it is saying you have this much, this much, this much, so many numbers, some definitions, everything it has shown. Okay, if you want to see more evidence of what is happening. So basically a decision making involves, if you imagine that I am the treasury manager who is responsibility of keeping the liquidity at 100% and above. So I have always money to pay my payments, right? That is the requirement. So if you want to see more details of it, it will expand. So basically all these pieces, what we called as information factors, all these variables which you are seeing on the screen are the factors. On the above which you are seeing is what will happen, how the scenario is coming. And this scenario is backed by set of business policies. Means I cannot borrow something more than this. So there are high quality liquid assets. I need to keep so much of high quality liquid assets. I can sell only so much in a given day. All these are different. I can keep so much cash, something in government securities, etc., etc. All these factors I need to see if I am taking a decision. Then in the business scenario, this is how it is going to go in next several days, weeks, whatever it is. So here there is something called, finally with all this information, I wanted to customize the strategy. So system is telling me to borrow 10 million, but what else I can do? So whenever I wanted to customize this strategy, now the system comes back saying that, okay, you have all these, there are certain things which business will not allow you, but I have empowerment to overlook at those constraints and still take a decision. So I can confirm that, go into it. Okay, I can move so much money from somewhere to somewhere, somewhere to somewhere else on day 3, day 4 to make sure this is happening. So I can look at, okay, this is what is happening. My percentages are there. It will go to the next stage saying that what else I can do. And I can change some of these variables saying that, okay, instead of borrowing 4 million or moving 4 million from somewhere to 6 million from somewhere. And finally, I can say, go and say, implement this strategy. Again, it will revalidate. This is where the adaptive nature is coming. So I am going through a decision process. I am trying to maintain my liquidity or the high quality liquid assets. And I have some constraint which is breaching. Again, I can say, I can confirm. It will go and finally give a strategy. So what has happened here, as a decision maker, I took different strategies. Every strategy has been stored, my past decisions, and they will be used to learn again. In a new scenario, it will be able to figure out, system will figure out a strategy number 1239 is been used some time back, and this scenario is very similar to that 1239. So I will suggest that strategy straight away. So system will learn and suggest better suggestions over a period of time. So that is an example of overall decision making. Decision factor, I can change this factor. Instead of 4 million, I can move 6 million from somewhere. How to move, why to move, all that questions have been asked, scenario has been shown, and it enables me take the decision and track my strategies, how they have performed over time. So that is how adaptive AI and decision intelligence will help businesses to take right decisions using all the advanced AI features. So the adaptability will come from fuzziness, partially observable nature of the context, understanding and linking the context. All these are advanced AI concepts which will use uh, several things, including decision networks in the sense all the knowledge bases, graph-based knowledge, and machine learning, generative AI. Everything need to be combined together in a responsible manner, because we don't want to manipulate people's behavior, or we don't want to kind of harm anybody in this whole process. We want to be on the forefront of our computation, not harming the users or anybody else, employees or any stakeholder in this game. So that is where the whole of AI game, including generative, adaptive, and responsible AI are coming together. That is the key message which I wanted to give you all.
Great. Thanks so much, Prasad sir, for that. So we'll just quickly take one question that we have, and the
Okay.
others can also start posting their questions here. So Ben has a question. He says, "What does future back mean under generative section?" So I think that's a question from your slide. That's what I'm assuming.
Okay. So let me look at my slide.
Hmm.
So that in the context of generative AI, the question is, what is
Future back.
Oh, future back. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, there is a concept called uh, so basically, this is a concept when you wanted to, we have predicted something. So there is validation. Okay, it will, if you want to understand that more as a validation, so it is a real, when something real happens. So scenario we have planned, right? Generative scenario has come. We have told something and we said this is what will happen. But actually on that day, has that happened? That is the future. So will that happen? What is the probability it will happen? But on that day, how much of that has happened? So we should reconcile that. It is a learning. So it is not purely generative in the sense what you see at language models. Language models generate tokens, and you don't need to say whether there is no way you can validate that. But if I generate a scenario and projected results, not just projections, expected results, if this happens. So basically, my scenario is if this happens, this is what will happen. But if that happened and whatever I have expected it to happen, whatever I have generated has not happened, that is the correction we need to do. So that from the future, we need to bring it back into the feedback. In other words, whatever is called feedback in a generative world, we will bring that future into the back and regenerate the scenarios, that continuous learning.
Got it. All right. All right. Great. I hope that answers your question, Ben. And just another question for all of you. Remember, I said that there are going to be a lot of these polls. So I'm just going to ask you a question on why exactly you think you can't pursue a career in data science or, the field that we talked about today. Basically, decision intelligence, data analytics. So what is exactly stopping you from pursuing a career there? So anything that you feel is the right answer, you could share that through the poll. And if someone is watching us on social media, just let us know whatever your answer is on the live chat, right? Uh, yes. So any more questions that you guys have, please make sure it's added on the Q&A box. I will be taking and sharing these questions in a while. Yeah. Okay, great, great. So as we can see, most of you feel that you don't have the practical exposure to become job ready. So on first thoughts, Prasad sir, do you have something to say here? If someone wants to pursue a career in the whole data science, business analytics domain, uh, and they need to gain practical exposure, what should be their first few steps at least?
Yeah, so basically there are three different types of skills that need to
Hmm.
be acquired.
Hmm.
One is that the technical core technical skill,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Technical skill in the sense you need to have that either AI. How do you make AI systems?
Right.
Models packaging them into agents. So there are multiple frameworks that have come up for the agent frameworks. So this
Hmm.
is the hard skills.
Hmm.
And most importantly, what need to happen is on the domain, some knowledge is required,
Right.
obviously. So
Right.
without
Right.
the domain knowledge, what if I have to do something in the BFSI, some knowledge of what BFSI risk management and
Yes.
things are required.
Yes. Yes.
So the ability to bring these two things together. So normally, if people are moving from one career to other career. So what I
Yeah.
have suggested earlier is if you are already a data analyst and trying to move into AI,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have a path to learn AI tools, etc., to come there. There are people who are called data engineers, so who have predominantly worked on data integration projects, but they wanted to move on to AI, right? So they know a bit of Python, etc., etc. They're trying to move. So how to upskill from that? But there are people who are purely domain knowledge, so with domain experience, but they want to move into AI. how they have to do that. So you have to look at these different paths. What skills? How do you acquire the skills?
Got it.
That can be a separate means. So few years back, I have given a webinar on in Simplilearn
In a
itself.
similar fashion. Okay.
In similar fashion, but at that time it is only focusing on machine learning. Okay,
Right.
how do you make yourself ready for machine learning? In that, in length, I have discussed about in each of these streams. If you are from a technology background, how do you want to move into this machine learning? If you are
Nice.
data background, how do you want to move? If you have a domain background, how do you want to move in? I have discussed in there. So
Amazing.
probably you will find that on the YouTube or LinkedIn somewhere. People can read.
Or yeah, we should be able to find that, but I think
Yeah.
learners would want to listen that live. Maybe we'll do another webinar, a repeat of that very, very soon. But another option, so another question, because we're going to be talking about and telling people to upskill in Gen AI, and how is that exactly going to help someone in decision intelligence or adaptive AI? So how is exactly generative AI going to play a role?
So as I said, generative AI is, if you leave the foundational models, the concept of foundational models, how they generate different scenarios, they learn self-supervised learning techniques.
Mhm.
That is going to be really interesting. So the reason and react agents, which are available in the market, there are multiple agent frameworks are there. I am not trying to tell any specific agent framework,
Hmm.
but one should learn how to create agent
Yeah.
from a model. So that is the adaptive AI, which we have been doing for years, much before the generative AI has come. We have been building agents of understanding, think, learn, right? So reason and act. So reasoning and acting, there are two separate edges of the AI system.
Right.
That is very clearly there in generative AI. So learning generative AI, including language generation, image generation, or any other type of content generation, the fundamentals of diffusion, fundamentals of transformers, they all will help in understanding adaptable AI systems or agents, basically.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So understanding the agent framework, whatever problem you are solving. So basically the larger problem, decision making is a
Yeah.
problem or a task. The
Yeah.
task need to be subdivided into multiple subtasks.
Correct.
How to subdivide those tasks and
Mm-hmm.
implement different models or agents to do that
Mm-hmm.
is
Hmm.
something which will come in learning the foundational models.
Nice.
So
Hmm.
that is the generative AI
Hmm.
predominant.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So learning generative AI will enable you towards the journey towards that. So moving away from the fixed AI, non-adaptive AI, you build a model for each task. That is
Hmm.
how the old AI is. You have to build a regression model or classification model if you want to achieve one classification task or regression task, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many such models you keep building?
Yeah.
And every model to build, you need a data scientist or somebody to labeled data and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
instead, the whole thing has moved one large model, a foundational model, which can perform multiple tasks, but it can perform multiple tasks only at 70% accuracy.
Got it.
Now we need to take this generalized model, foundational model, and fine tune for one particular task to perform
Mm-hmm.
that task. So basically, we need to, again, everything, a LLM or a large model, foundational model generates something. The validation and correction, that human in the loop or somebody else, one validating agent is required, one generating agent is required. Then they can put together, learn from each other while doing the tasks.
Yeah.
So this whole framework can be learned using generative AI.
Got it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. All right. So with that, I think let's just understand how this course will help you bridge that gap and help you build skills in this evolving field of generative AI. So this is a course that we've launched in collaboration with Purdue University, and you will learn to deploy Gen AI based evolutions in this particular course. So you've got live sessions from trainers along with live masterclasses from Purdue faculty and staff. Through this, you are able to understand how you can build an end-to-end application through a lot of hands-on projects. Now, one particular benefit that you gain here is that you get exclusive membership of Purdue's Alumni Association and along with a Purdue University certificate, right? So there are a bunch of tools, there are a bunch of things that you will be learning as a part of the course. I'm just going to quickly take you through uh, the syllabus. So I think because we are running out of time, I've shared the link to the course page. So just for someone to understand, you can join this course. You can quickly fill in your applications. Although the application is ending, I mean we're taking in applications only until tomorrow. You can still give in your applications after that as well. So this is around a 4 to 5 month course where you have a lot of live and interactive sessions. So this is also rated 4.6, 4.4, and 4.5 on all of these platforms by our learners. And let me help you understand. I think Prasad sir will do obviously justice to how this curriculum is exactly help you gain these skills. Maybe you could just explain it briefly. You don't have to tell it in detail. Uh,
Yeah. So basically, if you look at it, basic language is Python. You start with Python, then understand. So all these sequence models work on something called prompts.
yeah.
Prompts in the sense the sequence of labels.
Mm.
So you need to understand the prompt, how to generate that prompt, how it gets transformed, and it will go. And what is a model?
Yeah.
So we spoke about the model and model related architectures, different transformer architectures need to be understood and LLM based applications. So basically AI with this generative AI, the focus is not building the model. Building the model somebody will do. Okay. How do we use that model to perform a task? That is what need to be learned. They are called LLM applications, chat bots, co-pilots, whatever you call it as. Then what and all it can generate? It can generate language, it can generate data, it can generate any sequence basically.
Mm.
So it can generate image also. So when they generate images using diffusion, whatever it is, how you can combine all these things into performing some human-like tasks,
Mm.
interacting with humans and other agents. The all session which we have seen is agents interacting with other agents and augmenting a human taking the decision. That is the higher level in the decision intelligence.
Right.
But if you are helping a human to understand some complex topic, that is assistant model. You can have a copilot model. All these are combined together into your the course of a generative AI course. That
Got
is what is there.
Got it. All right. All right. That's thanks so much for giving a really brief summary. I've launched a poll to collect your interest. In case someone is interested in downloading the syllabus and understanding what tools, skills you're going to cover, how your projects are going to look like, all of it is available in detail in the program syllabus. But if you've given a yes on the poll, you will receive a call from a learning advisor and they will help you understand how this course actually helps. Now, I've also shared another link to help you understand courses we have in data science and business analytics as well. So if you're interested, you can take a look at them. Okay, so I'm going to keep the poll live for a while and let you explore the course page while we take one more question. So Mushi has a question. Can we try for applications based like Siebel transformation to Salesforce tool? And is this also a significant one for cloud based? That's a
Okay,
question.
so basically, tools that you use to integrate, uh, that really doesn't matter, right?
Okay. Mhm.
So at the end of the day, all that what you need to have is you need to have these core capabilities of how you will understand the context, how you think about or generate what you want to generate,
Mhm.
the outcomes, forecasts, and everything. And once you give that, how do you learn from that emerging scenario again? because always this is a continuous loop, right?
Mm.
So for example, Siebel application, it is giving some piece of information and then you transform to the Salesforce and you do actual action in Salesforce. So Siebel may be feeding some information variables and you are in between, your engine is doing some refinement and corrections, everything, and you are actually feeding the actions back into Salesforce. But again, from the Salesforce, you have to get the feedback. If you don't do that, it is a one-way cycle. It is no learning is happening. From the Salesforce, you need to get the correctness of what you are feeding into it and feed that back into your Siebel. Then the cycle completes.
Right.
When both things are done, then only you are improving both the systems. Your engine is able to improve the process of the Siebel backend and the Salesforce in the front end.
Got it.
Hope that answers the
Your
question.
question. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tools doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
you can use any front end, any back end, any machine learning toolkit for that reason. But
Right.
when you package this AI application, it should demonstrate these capabilities,
Hmm.
help a decision maker. Then it is a decision intelligence framework. We can
Right.
bring it.
Got it. So a couple of learners have this question on, let's say they don't have any background in the field, in the IT field, or let's say data, they don't have a background, but like they want to start with AI or machine learning or pursue a career in Gen AI and try to understand, what's happening in the field and eventually gain jobs. How should someone go about this?
Yeah, hands-on. So my suggestion always is do assignments. There are
Mm.
several competition sites which are there. They give the problem, they give the data set and stuff like that. There is a lot of code written by other users, other users that sites will offer all those things.
Got it.
So while going through the courses or the theoretical courses with assignments, you need to take your own assignments to do stuff. Only by hands-on learning, you will actually gain confidence. So even however novice, however fresh, new to this whole scenario you are, the existing tool sets, right from all the generative tools, they can give you sample code, they can give you information. Use that information and do it yourself. That is my honest suggestion to anybody, everybody who want to come in there. But you need to keep in mind the objective. Like you have to focus. There are two key career streams in this whole of AI. There is something called machine learning engineers or whatever,
Mm. Mm.
generative AI engineers.
Mhm.
And there is this data scientists or whatever domain specialists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually who are solving business problems are different from who are actually making the systems work.
Well, right.
So if you want to specialize on making the systems work, don't do only application courses. Then
Mm.
you will not do anything, right?
Right.
Application courses, you have to focus on a domain. You have to become an expert of chatbot or you have to expert of a copilot or whatever it is. Those are the specific applications. So application domain plus what is that application is going to solve in the business process. These two are very important. But if you want to be an engineer, means to make a tool work, how do you deploy a LLM? How do you compress it? How do you run it? How do you package it? This is the hard work. There are lot of openings in this position, but
Mm.
it is a hard work to learn that also.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so that is where you need to balance. So you need to have something in mind. So you can start in the application, build something, and then from there move it into one specific stack into an engineering thing, which will give you a lot of a lot of opportunity.
Nice. Got it. All right. I hope that Tausif actually says thanks. That has answered his question. Okay, one person has a question. Will Prasad sir teach any module in this Gen AI course? Unfortunately, no. But glad that you enjoyed his session today. All of us, I think, enjoyed listening to him and learning this concept from him. So he does not teach our courses yet, but you can certainly follow him on LinkedIn, I guess, and also attend more of our webinars. And thanks to today's learners who came here and expressed their enthusiasm in learning. I think it has motivated us. And I think, I mean, I would love to have you, sir, in another session very, very soon. That's what it looks like from all of the messages and engagement that you've got. Anyway, I think with that, we've also collected a lot of interest in our courses. Thanks so much for the interest. And I know all of you have, enjoyed the session, but it'll always help if you just let us know what else we can do and just give us a quick rating on how we can do better, right? So I've just launched another poll here, and there's going to be another one after this asking you your full name. So make sure you stay till the end and enter your full name and then also leave. So if you have got any more questions after this, I think you can post it on the Q&A box. I'm also opening up the chat box now that we're done with the session. Yeah. No, please don't enter your email IDs on the chat. I'm only asking you to rate our session here so that we can understand what we can do better, right? So again, I'm going to keep it live for some more time before I close it. But you guys make sure you stay because I'm going to launch a poll on web. Okay, thanks for your ratings on the chat. But I've launched a poll. It'll always help if you give us the rating on the poll. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay, I think we're done collecting ratings. Thanks everyone else who has enjoyed the session. It's great to receive these messages. Okay, okay, great, great. So here goes the certificate poll, not exactly a poll, but where you have to enter your full name. Now remember, please only enter your name here. Funny entries like your device name or your email ID is not going to get you your certificate. So do it in the next 2 to 5 minutes because we're about to end the session and the poll will close. So when I end the session, everything else closes, right? So we won't be able to record it. Just make sure you enter it very quickly. Now, before we go, Prasad sir, do you have anything else to share to our learners on what their upskilling strategy should be in this domain?
Yeah, as I said, first, thank you very much for spending some time with me in listening this. Definitely career progression, if you are looking at it, have the clear objectives of your learning.
Yeah.
Biggest problem today is there is so much of information. Everybody is trying to teach everything to everybody.
Yeah.
So have that clarity and then focus on the learning with practical assignments, and you create your own assignments and learn. So as I have told, just repeating the same thing, the more you do on the systems, the more you will learn.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that also answers most of your concern that all of you said, where you said you don't have practical exposure to get a job or fulfill that skill gap. So I hope this answers. Okay, again, can you explain two career paths? Okay, which career paths are you talking about, Ami? And Tausif, yes, you will receive your certificate tomorrow. So,
Okay.
sir, did you
So as I
yeah,
said, yeah, there is a technical path. It is called a AI engineer or ML engineer. Okay.
yeah,
They focus on the actually packaging these models, retraining, fine tuning, all that. There is another path is more of, prompt engineering, where people will do more domain side work. How to make this particular LLM or the AI system work according to the requirements. So that is the domain side software application, LLM applications development path.
got
There
it.
is a hardcore tool-based path, like, actually fine-tuning these models, that is the engineering side. So you need to choose between those two paths wherever you are coming from. But generally, what I suggest is get onto the application side, use the systems, create something on there. Then you need to deepen your knowledge onto one stack, one specific stack, either cloud-based or any other things, either in the packaging or in the fine-tuning or in the RAG. So there is a lot of things called RAG.
Mm.
Retrieval augmented generation. So that is required for any LLM to work in an effective manner. So there are, and everything joined together in this thing called this agent framework.
Right.
You need to focus on multiple agent frameworks to learn. The more deeper you go into it, you choose, you become a specialist. So that is like you have to start as a generalist, but you don't get so many jobs for that. So basic entry level jobs you will start getting in there. But once you specialize into something, into one tool or one a specific area of this, you can actually learn, make the knowledge deeper. So it is a continuous learning story. While you perform, you have to learn. The same thing AI is also doing. So same thing we have to. That is how you have to look at it. But there is a core distinction between that. If you are an application domain specific person, not necessarily you have to get into engineering. But if you are interested in engineering, you don't need to know the domain specifics or application knowledge. You
Right.
can just specialize in your path. If you are already somewhere, I see some people 10 years experience and all coming in there, right? So for them, you need to, if you are already onto the engineering side, maybe it is better for you to learn engineering aspects of the generative AI and every other AI, whatever is there.
Yeah.
That is how it is.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks so much for your time, Prasad sir. It was amazing listening to you and also learning a new topic in the process. Thanks so much to the learners as well. It was great having you, and your enthusiasm was actually infectious. So all of you, I think, motivated each other to learn more. So in case you guys want to receive more such alerts about our webinars, some of you are already a part of our WhatsApp groups. I'm just leaving the link here. You can join the group for any further updates there. Thanks so much again. Thank you, Prasad sir, for your time once again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.